Hello guys, welcome back to the channel STEAM Agriculturist TV, and I am Rista Farms. STEAM simply represents or stands for science, technology, engineering, agricultural, mathematics. Today I want to teach on what is being called GMO. A lot of you have been hearing GMO, and most of you don't really know what GMO is. But I'm not here to explain the science, how GMO is being done, the science of gene transplant. I'm not here to explain the science. I'm here today. My purpose of making this video is to reveal to you the dangers of GMO. Like people say, GMO is a tool to fight hunger. A whole lot of people pushing some negative narratives or positive narrative about GMO, but most of them lacks the fact. They don't have the fact to describe or the fact to back up their narratives. And I've listened to demagogue online, people with economic interests, or people that has political or economic interest speak about GMO. When they speak about GMO, they try to let you understand that GMO, like I said from the beginning, that GMO is a tool. They use that tool in fighting hunger. They now try to interpret GMO like being a gun. If I'm handing you over a gun, it all depends on you to use that gun for your self-defense or to use that gun for murder. It all depends on you. So they push that narrative. That means they are pushing out what they are pushing out about GMO. They are trying to make you understand that GMO depends on what you want to achieve with it. None of these demagogues will come to tell you the actual truth about the dangers of GMO. And I realized that most farmers that are scared to speak out the truth, they are chemical farmers. What I mean is this: all they use in their farm is being imported. They import the seed, pesticides, fertilizers, fungicide. They use all manner of synthetic chemicals as input in their farm. So that is why they cannot kick against GMO, because partly they are used towards chemical farming. So I cannot tell you that I'm not eating, let me say for instance, I don't eat dog, but I always want to share the meat amongst my colleagues and by using my teeth. It's indicting. That is why they don't want to speak or say the truth about this GMO of a thing. Now let's say the truth about GMO being a chemical seed. We all know what deposition is. Whenever I talk about GMO, I've never said anything beside the deposition, the residual content of chemicals in that seed. The process of GMO modification involves lots of chemicals. Most of you don't even know that during surgery, that the antibiotics they used on you has potential deposition risk. Most of you don't know. And this is why, to some extent, when you finish treating typhoid, if you go to the lab after 2 weeks, that result still remains the same. If you treat typhoid, after treating your typhoid, if you're having typhoid infection, after treating it, it takes time. Get any antibiotics, I don't want to call name. Look at the leaflet of the antibiotics. You will see how many days it takes for, after every treatment, you see how many days it takes the antibiotics to leave your body system. This is an example of residual. GMO seeds involves lots of chemicals during the creation of that seed, because they bring cells from different organisms. They might bring the cells from animal, from plants. They merge it together to get a desired trait or a desirable result. Ask any search engine, maybe Google, AI. Ask them. Visit any library. Make your research. Ask if there is any chemical. For now, I don't know of tomorrow. There is an existence for now that has ever been used, and that chemical did not have any deposition on the item they use that chemical for, or they use that chemical on. I am trying to break this thing down in the most commonest language, in the most simplest way you people will understand the dangers of GMO. GMO, make your research. In the process of bringing out the cells from one organism, injecting it in another organism, in the process of culturing that cells to give you whatever they want, chemicals are involved in that process. And for every chemical you use, there's a percentage of that chemical that will be left in that seed. Now they're using like 150, depending. Sometimes it's above 150, sometimes it's below, depending on the type of GMO seed they want to produce. That is why we hear things like antibiotics resistance in human being. Let me give you another example. If you're being sick and you're being admitted for typhoid, you're being treating typhoid. Sometimes the doctor will tell you that this typhoid you have is resistant to this particular antibiotics because you've been using that antibiotics over a period of time to treat typhoid. For that reason, your body cells have adapted to that antibiotic, so that antibiotic might not be as effective in your body system. Sometimes they'll have to change the antibiotics to have a better treatment of that typhoid. That is what residue is all about. That percentage of antibiotics you've been taking over the years have been deposited in your body. So for every infection, bacteria coming in, they have already sent that antibiotics as part of your body cells. So it's easy for them to combat it. So you need to change to a different antibiotics that their body they are not used to. I'm just trying to explain this thing in the most simplest way you people can understand the dangers. Most farmers will tell you that why they went into, or why they want other farmers, they preach innovation in agriculture, like using of greenhouses. It's because they want to minimize the way pests and other things come into the farm. That is why they no longer use soil. They first of all lie to you that soil is an empty container, but when they notice you've already decoded that, they just a lie they sell to us to sell other things to us. They now use other media rather than soil to reduce the amount of disease that comes into the farm. They are doing this just to be able to reduce the amount of chemicals they use, like pesticide, to be able to monitor the amount of fertilizer they use, because they know that the use of all those things has effect directly on the food, indirectly to mankind, because when there is a heavy downpour, when heavy rain falls, it washes the unused nutrients like fertilizer into water, and it pollutes the water, cause a whole lot of damage. Some researchers carried it that in an environment where there is excessive use of fertilizer, maybe we are supposed to put 1 kg, you apply 1.5 kg. When rain comes, it washes the extra 500 grams into the river. The aquatic animals, the frogs, the things that lives within that environment, that fertilizer that has been washed by water started changing their reproductive system. This is how bad chemicals is to living organisms, to living things, mammals, even to other plants. That is why when those pesticides that have been designed for GMO seed is being sprayed on other crops, it kills them. There is a whole lot of chemical involvement. Let any farmer come out today, whether you're a doctor, whether you read microbiology, come out today to say that I am saying nonsense by saying there is what is being called chemical deposition. No matter what you want to say, you might say, you might call it any name, which I don't even want to mention in this channel. But then, once chemicals are being involved, no matter the science you're bringing into agriculture, you can call it improved seed, you can call it whatsoever name you want to call it. Once the process of modifying that seed or the process of hybridizing that seed involves chemical, you are giving us chemicals, because no chemical has ever been used without deposition. It might be little, but what now happens when you eat that food over a long period of time? Before now, we don't hear things like type 2 diabetes. We've not heard things like hypertension in children. Check the period this GMO seed came in. Rewind it back to 30 years before now and calculate. It's a perfect timing for you to know that this seed has caused a whole lot of damage. It causes infertility, it causes blood cancer, it causes all manner of things. You can call it any name for any reason you want to, but once there is a chemical involvement in the process, none of you wants to tell us the process of doing this thing. You only come online to tell us the science. Yes, they use that name, science. Tell us how it's being done. If you're removing the cell, how many chemicals are you using to back up that cell to ensure that that cell will not die during the process of transplant? We all know that even when you conduct surgery, there are things you need to inject to keep that person alive and to reduce the pain. Same way when you culture, these things we are talking about is cells, living things. If the GMO is being done in an organic way, that there are no external inputs like synthetic chemicals, good and fine. Today we are even finding it difficult to have 100% organic food because of the activities, because of the damage this chemical farming has caused to our ecosystem, to our environment. And I hope a lot of people is still trying to what? I don't even understand. Why are people trying to normalize? Why are people not saying the truth about GMO seed? How much have they paid you guys? They don't want to speak up the truth. Check how many countries today has banned GMO. In countries like Russia, nobody even give you the opportunity to discuss it. They know what they are doing. Even in the White House today, check it. In the US, in the White House, GMO is a no-no. Even foods that are being grown with synthetic chemicals, there's a percentage that goes into the White House. What they eat there is organic food. Make your findings. You think they are stupid? Let's know what we eat, because we are made up of what we eat. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please share this video. God bless you.